Okay, hey.
Hi.
Okay, before we get into anything, Stealth said before we started recording that he has a new ability that he's able to shit in 2 minutes. If you
That's
shit in
true.
2 minutes, you're not shitting, girl.
What do you
That's a
mean? No,
piss.
like, I don't know. Like, this is new for
You're
me. It's a
pigeon.
new developed superpower. I don't know. I just go to the toilet, I sit
I was gonna
down,
ask-
it comes out, and it's gone. I feel like there's not coming more. I feel like I don't need to sit more on the toilet. I just, and then I
Stealth.
just clean, and I'm done. And
I'm
in 2
eating while
minutes.
this talk is
Stealth,
going on.
with that hole getting ran through every night,
Oh,
there's
Okay.
always more to come out of that. It's like-
Okay, Bob. You know what?
on things I did not expect to hear this morning.
The Saturday morning.
While eating your omelet.
It's about to be
And
afternoon
not
soon.
omelets. Wait, I have I don't know if I ever told you guys, but this is a fun fact about me. I did keto for like 4 months once, and I was like really strict with it. And I ate egg so much that I got sick of it, and now I hate omelets. I cannot eat omelets. Like, they make me actually want to throw up. And avocado too if I eat too much. Like, it's insane.
Avocado?
Like, I can
What's
only eat
wrong
my
with
eggs
avocado?
like fried, but if I scramble it, it has to be like a little well done. I used to eat them creamy, and I can't do it anymore. I'll vomit. I'll die.
Show a picture of what you mean.
What do you mean?
Show a picture of the type of egg that you would have.
Okay. So like
Okay, let's
soft
Google. Let's research.
omelet. Like this, like a French omelet, like a French style
yeah,
omelet.
Oh,
it's so yellow, it's almost offensive. Yeah,
you
like
can't
omelet,
have that.
yeah.
No, because like you see how it's squishy. Like I used to love that. And on keto, when you're doing keto, your best friends are like fats, like salt and greens. So I would eat a bunch of avocado, kale, and egg. And it got to the point where I was having almost like I literally had meals like with steak and egg. Like it was insane because I needed to get my fats in. And
Yeah.
like I would eat it like this. And one day, like I'm sitting there eating like my egg and my avocado, and I almost fucking vomit. Like it was horrible. And I can't do it. Like now I can't do it. Like I have to. Yeah.
Always kind of just.
Yeah,
It's always kind of looked off to me.
It's the texture. Like,
yeah.
It's the texture.
Like that does not look appetizing to me. I'm just like, oh, it looks so gooey, and it looks so like it's so yellow, uncooked. Like I might as well eat a raw egg at that point. I don't know.
Rice,
That's just
like
me, though.
Like I wouldn't even be able to have that now because of the squishy egg on top.
Oh.
But yeah, like now I do cook my eggs a little more well than I used to, and I don't.
Can you
I get
click
rid
on
of that
the
softness.
where your mouse is on the left?
So I'm assuming this is a
click
very
on this?
universal experience, right? Where you throw up because of a certain food, and then you really create an aversion to that food.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah,
but-
I have that with a bunch of foods.
You do? That was the
I
first time that
do.
ever happened to me.
I don't think I've ever thrown up
Oh.
because of a food.
Well, not because of a food, but like for example, I used to love Lay's pickle chips. Like I used to love them. I don't know if you guys have them in America,
We
but
have,
they're
like,
very,
dill
very
pickles.
common here. Oh, yeah, we
Might
have
be
like a
the same.
pickles flavored chips here, and it's like one of the basic flavors here. Like if you would ask any European, oh, what are like the 4 basic flavors, they would say, oh, like obviously paprika, like like the original one, and the salted one, and then they would be like, oh, and like pickles, like they would be like the 3 main flavors. So I
Right.
used to love pickles chips, but then once I got sick, and the only thing I ate that day was like a big bag of pickle chips, and I remember this so well. I was in the car, and I like started screaming at my mom, "Oh my god, I have to throw up!" I was like a kid, I don't know, 6, 7 years old, and then she just stopped the car. I opened the door of the car. I literally threw up like a perfectly pictured cinematic sized poop of yellow pickle chips.
No.
I threw up at the side of the road, and then I just, I tasted it, I smelled it, I saw it. I
Why'd you
closed
taste
the car
it again?
door.
It's in your mouth.
It's in my
choice do you
mouth.
have?
So yeah, and I saw this yellow poop-sized pickle chips throw up, and then I closed the car door, and my mom just ran the car.
Damn,
It was
bitch.
like such a, like it was such a.
Oh, if I was
interesting
your mom
experience,
there,
but
I
ever
would have
since
slurped
that
it up like a
day-
smoothie.
No. But ever since that day, I cannot eat pickle chips. Like I will literally start gagging. I'm like, no, I can't do it. Like, and I love that shit. But ever since I threw up, and it wasn't even because of the pickle chips. I think I was sick or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's so
Yeah, I threw up,
unlucky.
and then I can't have that anymore. And the same thing happened like a year later with like some. We have these like powdered soups. Like it's just like a little pack of powder, and then you
Powdered
add water, and then you have
soups?
like powdered soup. Like
I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
like Royco soup is what
Yeah.
we call them.
Oh.
Those are poor people
Um,
soups here.
Yeah, poor people soups. But yeah, it was like a chicken. It's like a chicken powder soup, and it had these like little rings in them. I guess that was a pasta or something. I don't know. But yeah, I used to eat those a lot as well as a kid because like when I was a kid, my mom, like we were building this house and they poured every cent that they had into the house, and then all I ate for like straight years were like instant stuff, like just like really garbage food, very not nutritional at all.
Girl,
So I
why'd
would
they do
eat
that
these.
to you?
I don't know. Me still mad because I'm so
Wait.
sure that the reason why my brother is so fucking huge and I'm so average size,
Twink.
like lengthwise, yeah, twink, is because I was just malnutrition growing up, girl. Like there's
So-
no beating around the bush. Like
You had the
It's my-
poor
yeah,
kid
anyways.
experience.
it's true, I did. Like
You
I don't know,
did.
me eating like so many fucking like ramen noodles, like instant noodles,
Mhm.
like that was just my main meal for like a year straight. Like and then fucking deep freeze pizzas and these like
Oh.
instant soups. Like it was bad, y'all. But yeah, anyways. So it was this chicken flavored instant soup, and I love that shit because it had these little like tiny pasta rings in them, and I just ate that shit up. And then I added these like we call them soup cereal. I don't know if you guys have them.
Soup
It's like
cereal?
little, yeah, soup cereal. It's like little bowls of like cracker. I don't know, like
I'm
soup
searching this up.
paddles. Like yeah, like these. I don't know if you get, but we call them soup cereal translated. But I used to love to put this shit in my instant soup then,
Oh.
and it would like almost make it very, I don't know, it was yummy. But yeah, and then I got sick, I got the flu, and then I threw up the chicken soup. And then
Oh my god,
ever since that day, I cannot
yeah.
eat these instant soups anymore. Like I can't do it because they have a certain flavor to them because
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
The
artificialness.
sodium.
These look
Yeah.
like
Yeah, like
chickpeas.
I
So-
can't. Like
yeah.
as soon as I smell that, even like someone making that instant soup, I'm like, "Bleh," I want to just like throw up and like, it's bad.
Are these not chickpeas?
It looks
No,
like
No.
they're like little
They're made of
crackers,
dough.
like,
They're
bread.
basically
Yeah,
little
dough.
bread that you put in soup.
That's interesting.
and they're
Make it
really, really
heartier.
crunchy. Like
Bitch,
they're
you
very
were
crunchy.
They're
poor.
so
Damn.
fucking good. Sometimes I
What?
eat them just as is with
Yeah,
like
they're
cheese on
yummy,
the
right,
side. They're
Choco?
so
What
fucking
cereal?
good. They're just
They're so
really,
yummy.
really oily. It's like the
Oily,
only thing
buttery.
I don't like.
Yes, yes.
don't like
I
that.
love that though. That's so good.
Bitch, that's literally Reese's Puffs.
No, it's not Reese's
It's
Puffs.
literally just fried dough. Like it doesn't have a flavor. It's literally just fried dough.
No, it's not
Bitch,
sugary. It's savory.
not chickpeas. It has a crunch to it, and it's round and
crouton- it's
bulbular.
croutons,
You're eating Reese's
Pop.
Puffs. I'm so sorry to
It's
tell you.
crouton.
It's not sweet. You put it in soup, bestie.
Yeah,
But still,
it's savory.
like Gurm, your guys is like a story with the eggs and the pickle chips. I have that with eggplants. My aunt made some eggplant meal, and that was like my first time trying it. And there was nothing wrong with the food. There was just like this stomach flu going around in town, and it like got me.
Damn.
So I was like up all night vomiting, and my brain associated it with it's the first time eating eggplants. Immediately, this kind of
No.
reaction. It must be the eggplant's
Oh
fault.
my god.
Ever since then, I just my dad made this really delicious meal, and there was eggplant in it, and I was only able to like maybe eat one, and then I was like starting to gig. I was like, okay, no more. I might actually ruin this dinner. Here we
Okay.
are.
Eggplant
know-
kind of doesn't taste good, just in general.
Eggplant.
No,
Dude,
by
eggplant-
itself, no, but it's the way you prepare it. It can be so
Yeah,
delicious
like
if you
tofu.
prepare
It
it the
smells
right way.
so good when my family like bakes it or cooks it, and I'm just standing there. I'm like, I'd love to try it, but I don't want to vomit. It smells really good though.
Okay.
Before
know
we
you-
continue, Gurm,
I know
what's
you
going on with your background?
Well,
What is this today?
first of all, I just want to say that I know you guys aren't poor because one time in Mexico when my family slaughtered a pig, because every time we would go, they would kill a pig for us. And like I don't know if you guys, but we eat intestines because we're Mexican. But my grandma didn't wash the intestines good, so I'm pretty sure they still had shit in it. And me and my brother and sisters, and my sister got really sick because of it, right? like sick.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we were shitting
Yeah,
and
you
fucking
can
vomiting.
get very sick
Yeah.
from yeah.
But like because they're used to that, I'm guessing nobody else got sick. Not even my parents. Like it was literally just us, me and my brothers and my sister. And even though I got like really sick from eating like intestine, I'm not sickened by intestine. Like I love that shit. I will eat it.
Oh,
Really?
So yes, like
That's
I remember how violently sick I got. Like I remember it was horrible. I thought I was gonna die. I was like 8 years old, clinging on to life. Like I was like, damn bitch, it's over. But yeah, no, I can still eat like intestine, but I know for a fact that that's what got us sick. Because I remember my grandma like cleaning it, and I was like, damn, she's not doing a very good job there. But it doesn't matter because like I was a kid.
And
right?
you
What
didn't
did
intervene.
I mean, what did I know? They weren't gonna listen to me. Okay. Sorry, we sidetracked for 10 minutes, but yeah, we have an actual topic to talk about today.
Okay,
And-
so, I was given the task of
Mhm.
not the task, but the challenge
The challenge.
of staying on topic for an entire full episode. We already failed, but
Yeah, I was gonna say we already failed.
No. We haven't because this is like we were just telling stories. This is now
This is the
yes.
introduction.
Now the
real
challenge
story,
starts.
Like chapter begins now.
Exactly.
the chapter begins now.
Exactly.
So I was given the topic for like staying on topic for an entire episode, which is extremely difficult, but I was rolling through like in my brain over the past like week and a little of topics to talk about and to stay on topic for at least one thing. And I had a pretty serious conversation with my friend a couple days ago when I went over to her house. We were talking about like relationships and stuff, and she's been really obsessed with this guy. And for the past 3 weeks, that's been like her only thing on her mind. And she was talking to this guy for at least a week. And she was like, wow, like he's really hot. He's really attractive. Like every single time that I would come over, like, bitch, the vagina would be Niagara Falls.
Ah!
oh.
I didn't like that.
She like was really, really infatuated and like obsessed with this guy. Not in love,
Mhm.
but really obsessed with this guy.
Yeah.
And when she was telling me about him and like showing me pictures and like telling me about how he is just in general, I was like, I don't like him all that much. And
Damn.
he broke it off and was like,
Uh-huh.
we're not gonna talk anymore because I'm not ready for a relationship. And that really like crushed her. And so for the past like 2-3ish weeks, she's been kind of going through like the turmoil of like her first ever like situationship going to shit.
Yeah.
And she's really heartbroken. And we were talking about how she kind of had a realization one day where she woke up and she was like, oh, like I don't really care anymore. And we were talking about
Infatuation
how
just flying over.
That's
yes.
true.
And we were talking about how like a bunch of his flaws, and she was explaining to me how, oh yeah, I didn't tell you this before, but I didn't tell you this before because I didn't want you to not like him any more than you already do. But
Well.
but
No, it's already a shit pile. Just add another shit on top of it. Doesn't matter.
she was like, my he doesn't he's homophobic, unironically. And she was like, when he told me that and when he kind of like expressed that, I was kind of heartbroken. Or not heartbroken, but I was kind of like conflicted in my brain because
Mm-hmm.
she was like most like a lot of my friends are gay, and like me being her best friend being gay, that's a big part of her life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was saying how he would never, or he wouldn't really want to meet her friends just in general, but wouldn't really want to meet her friends because they're gay. And she was like, oh, that's a really big conflicting thing in my brain because one, I'm really attracted to this guy. Like he's like my everything. He perfect, like in every way, shape, or form, my like ideal type. But also that was in like the heightened thought of like, oh, like honeymoon phase, like she's
infatuation,
really
yeah.
obsessed with this guy. Yeah. But she's like, oh, there's this guy, perfect in every way, shape, or form. I really, really like him. But then his flaws. Oh no, he doesn't want to meet my friends, which an extremely big part of her life. An extremely, extremely big part of her life. And then also like is homophobic. Which
Yeah.
How perfect
He's
can
so
he be when he's
serious.
homophobic?
What, Shaka?
How perfect can he be if he's homophobic? How is that like
Exactly.
her dream type?
Exactly.
Maybe she's not telling you something.
No. She was explaining that to me, and I was saying how I've expressed it to her before, and she knows this about me, but I was saying how I don't really understand people who date people who don't have the same like ground-based fundamentals. And it doesn't have to be with oh fuck, I forgot something else. Okay. So this guy is Filipino, right? He's
Mhm.
not black. But another flaw that she was telling me about
Oh no, I know where
is
this going.
that he says the N-word unironically.
Well,
And he says it with his friends, and
Yeah.
he even on a hangout one day with her asked her to say it. She's the color of my walls.
oh.
No!
Oh.
Did she do it?
No.
Okay.
I would like to, Pop. I don't know. I didn't say it. Me
But-
slurring it up in the car. I don't know, you guys.
But
Jesus Christ, man.
that was also another conflicting thing. 'Cause she was like,
Mm.
"Oh, what the fuck? That's really
Yeah.
weird. That's really strange. Oh no." And she's been realizing.
Are you sure that he was saying the N-word and not calling out that guy that was in your stream?
Chuck.
The
Okay,
cousin?
Chaka. Okay.
But she also was like talking to me and realizing a bunch of different things about him that, like, you know how when you get over a breakup,
Yeah.
or you get over a relationship and you have like that 2 week span of where like you're critically thinking about things and you're like, oh, like I'm noticing this and that and that and that like I should have realized while I was in the relationship, but since I was so infatuated
The
with this
red
person,
flags that you like overlook in
yes,
the honeymoon
chocolate,
phase.
exactly. And
Yeah.
she was also realizing that he has really bad toxic masculinity and a bunch of other things that we kind of dissected about him that we realized that she didn't like. But
Yeah.
then she was still saying at the end, I don't know, if he were to come back to me, I would still say yes. And I was like, why is that? And she was like, well, even though the stuff that we talked about and the stuff that he has and his red flags and his flaws and the things that he doesn't want or agree with that are really important to me, I still have that feeling that not I can fix him, but
Yeah.
I still have that feeling that I can talk to him about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
How old is he?
He's the same age as her, 17. Wait, no. She's 17, he's 16.
Okay, yeah, you can still kind of change this person's mind, but like
Yeah.
still, it's
Yeah.
this is like a
but-
deep-rooted thing. Oh my fucking god, what the hell?
But it was, I don't know, it was a really interesting conversation because she was still like, I don't know, if he were to come back to me, I would potentially say yes.
Right.
And I was like, that is a little interesting because all the stuff that we just talked about, how like your friends are really important to you, he doesn't want to meet your friends. He also says the N-word. And a bunch of other stuff that she, like, I know her really, really well. She's been my best friend for like years, and I know her, and I know her fundamentals, and her fundamentals are snapping really, really hard when it comes to this guy because she's so infatuated and so like obsessed with him that she looks over this stuff. And I never really understand that, and I don't think I ever will understand that because I have such set fundamentals and such set morals in my brain that the person that I'm dating has to meet every single one of those, and if there's some sort of like wariness about that, I won't pursue it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you mean like when you say fundamentals, you mean like abortion should be a right and not I only like bananas, apples are the devil, right? Like
Yes.
you
Like
mean
fundamentals like
opinion-
that, but then also
Yeah.
fundamentals like it doesn't have to be something not per se like political, but it doesn't have to be something political in the way that like him not really wanting to meet her friends, like besides some of her friends being gay, he just in general didn't really want to meet her friends all that much. That's a fundamental that I'm like, oh, that's a little strange because like she also considers like her relationships and stuff like that and the guys that she dates to be her friends.
Yeah.
And him not having that same like mental thing where, oh, my girlfriend is gonna be my girlfriend but also my friend is a little strange. then we also talked. Sorry, we also talked about how
You give us like 4 topics already to talk about.
we also talked
Honestly,
about.
it seems
Mhm.
like she was way more into him than him being into her.
Mm.
If he like, I wouldn't be surprised if years down the lane we would find out he's abusive too. On top of all that shit, like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This kind of. I don't know if this. I don't know if we'll talk about this all that much, but there's a thing that we were talking about how straight men, or like some specific straight men, have this separation in their minds from their friends and their girlfriend.
Yes,
And
me
it's a-
saying
Yeah.
this all the time. I
Yep.
say this all the time. That's so weird to me. Like,
Yep.
maybe, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm gay, right? But like, I want to say, like, past throughout my life, I've always usually had girlfriends, you know, like female
Mhm.
friends. But like, still, like, I've had boyfriends too. Not boyfriends, but you know, like male friends
Mhm.
throughout my life as well. But it was usually more like girls. But at the same time, the relationship that I've had with boys were usually a bit, I don't know. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, that separation, like, I want my boyfriend to be my best friend. Like, what's the point if your boyfriend is not your best friend to me? But I'm like, is that because I'm a boy also, and we tend, like, because we're both like, I don't know, like, it's easier, I guess, to find more common ground, more common interests because I'm gay and because we're both boys. But then I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of like male and female friends who also have so much things in common, and you know, they're also extremely good friends. So why not? Like, why? I don't know. And then with basically all my straight friends, every time I ask them about their relationships and stuff, I'm like I've literally asked them like point blank, like, do you consider like your girlfriend, like my straight male friends, like, do you consider your girlfriend to be like a good friend or like your best friend? And they're like, no, I keep them separated. Like, I don't want, like, I have my friends and I have my girlfriend. And it's like, oh, but like, and they're like, oh yeah, and I tell my friends certain things that I wouldn't tell my girlfriend, and I tell my girlfriend certain things that I wouldn't tell my friends. I'm like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, obviously, I'm in no position to judge anyone and how they have their relationships, right? But I'm like, what's the point? Like, if I cannot tell my boyfriend, my best friend, you know, one person, everything from A to Z, the entire spectrum of what I have to offer as a person, what's the point? Like, I'm just like, why would I? Like, I get this whole faceting your personality thing to like certain friend groups. I get that, right? Because like, you're never really gonna find that many friends that have like all of the things in common that you want, and the things that you don't have in common, you don't want to bother them with it, right? That's what your boyfriend is for. Like, you talk about them with things even that you don't have in common. You learn to appreciate each other, things that were known to each other, all that kind of stuff. But you don't want to bother your friends with that. So I get that you're faceting your personality into like different facets of yourself, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
with this friend group, I mainly do these things
Yes.
with, and I talk about these things with, and then with this other friend, you can keep friend groups separated. I get that, but it's very prevalent. I've noticed with all my straight male friends that they keep their girlfriend separated as well from their friend group, and they really, you know, like, they will, yeah, like I said, they will tell their friends stuff that they will never tell their girlfriend, and they will tell their girlfriend stuff that they will never tell their other friends. I'm like, I don't know, that's a crazy concept to me that I just don't understand. But I've just always thought that was more of like a personal thing, because I do think like the general, like, I don't know, the general idea is kind of agreeing on that. They're like, oh yeah, like a girlfriend or a boyfriend is separated from a friend. I don't know.
Mhm.
That's weird to me.
I think it is weird too, because it's like you're spending if especially like if you're a straight couple, you're probably gonna like eventually want to marry this person, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna want to spend like you're gonna have to spend your whole life with this person potentially, right?
Yeah.
And you're telling me that the conversations you're having in your living room is all theatrics.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Clinically insane.
Like, not to go swifty on you, but one of my favorite lines from her song Lover, it's literally, and you save all your dirtiest jokes for me. Like, to me, that's how you know somebody's like goofy, silly, funny, like
Yeah.
in love. Because yeah, I'm not gonna tell this joke to like other people. Like, I'm gonna come home and I want to tell it to you because like I think it's gonna be funny to see what you think of this, right? But imagine not being able to tell the person that you want to spend your life with a joke because It's like, oh, but it's not for them. It's not for them. This is for the boys. Like, what? Like, girl, what the
Yeah,
fuck? You're
like-
crazy.
Never will ever
Yeah.
understand that.
It's
Yeah,
insane.
that's crazy to me. But that was my internal question. Is like, oh, is this because I'm gay, right? Because of the whole
Yeah.
like male thing and easier to connect with, or I don't know.
It's not.
Is
though.
it
It's
that?
not.
But I don't think it is. I feel like that's just coping to like understand it because I
Yeah.
don't. Like, I don't know.
No, I know it's not true because of Taylor Swift. See, you guys, she is good. Everybody, go buy her.
Oh, this is horrible. I don't know.
Chucka, what do you think about this? I mean, sorry, think.
Well, right now we're talking about this, right? But I want to go back to the other stuff, all the other stuff.
Yeah, I want to go back to the
Like
core values.
everything
stuff, yeah.
else. Taco?
Choco
Taco.
bean. Choco.
Are you
Hey.
Oh,
Chucka, this is so
Chucka,
cheating.
I want to go back, so I'm like waiting for you.
No, we want. Well, what do you think about like straight? Like, do I want to
Okay,
even
so
say
I've-
straight people?
So
Like,
I've
mhm.
okay. So how do I even start this? I've definitely seen like this straight boys behavior
Yeah.
before. Not with me, but with like some of my
Not
friends.
with me. That seemed defensive.
It's
Wait
a
a
lot of
minute.
can of worms. I'm not
Wait
getting
a
into
minute.
this now.
Can I just say that when we asked Choco what their ideal partner would be, they described a butler. So I don't know. Choco,
No. It wasn't a butler.
not
It was
here
a
for
waiter.
right. Choco's like, I want somebody who's there, who doesn't talk to me, who just brings me food and gives me stuff. Or when I want to cuddle, they cuddle. Like, Choco, I need your perspective.
No,
It's
I
gonna be
said
so unique.
Well, so yes, what you said is correct, but I also said just checks up on me regularly to make sure I'm not dead, and then just leaves me alone again.
Damn.
I think that's why I prefer the whole e-dating / long distance, because then I don't have to deal with them every single fucking day.
Chucka, so you want a nurse? Huh?
As long as she like pulls the support plug, I'm fine with that.
Oh,
Sure,
Chucka getting
take
admitted to a
nurse.
psych ward just so they can like fall in love with a nurse there.
Yes. Choco, but what do you think about it? Like, about
It's
like,
stupid. Like, if you're dating like I'm completely on your what you said, Gurm. Like, if you're dating someone or self, if you said that, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're trying or like if you're planning to spend like the rest of your life with this person, and then them not being like not okay, it doesn't have to be your all-time best friend, but one of your best friends. That just doesn't make sense. Like,
yeah.
why do you? Okay, so I understand that there are some things you don't tell your partner that you do tell your friends. I do understand that.
Me not understanding that.
Like,
But-
Choco, explain. Like, can you give us
Yeah,
an
elaborate,
example?
elaborate.
Or...
For example, I mean, you see these cute videos on YouTube and TikTok all the time where you're like, oh, planning a surprise for my partner, and like with the help of the friends, and
But that's
not
not
telling
the
the
same
partner
thing,
anything.
Choco.
I know, I understand that,
Yeah.
but
Choco's like, I don't want to ruin the surprise party.
Thank you, Choco.
it just might have something to do with how I was raised. But
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
feel like I like to keep a lot of things private, and it's like nobody else's business. I like to deal with that. Like, if we have a problem in the family, I deal it only with like the family. I don't want anyone else to like hear about it immediately. So I personally wouldn't tell my partner, like, at least not immediately. Maybe if the situation got a little better, or if I like knew, oh fuck, I
Not
need.
even if you're like a few years into the relationship, you basically spend every
Okay,
day
that's a
together with your partner, and
Then
like-
maybe yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that's like the thing, right? If you choose to hold on to something, right? Like, I'm going to use Pop's friend here as an example. Let's say this man didn't tell her any of this stuff, right? And he kept this side of him under wraps. And finally, like, they're 3 years into the relationship, high school sweetheart, call it what you want. They're going to get married. And all of a sudden, then this side starts to come out. Like, then what?
Mhm.
I feel like, so I've never been like that long in a relationship, so I don't know how it would go, but I feel like at that point the like honeymoon phase is kind of over, so maybe you're more prone to see the red flags.
But what if, like you said, there's certain parts of me that I want to keep private, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, to me, this seems like a reason you would want to keep it separate, right? Because you have these things that you know aren't socially acceptable. And in order to meet somebody, right, you need to hide this part of you because you want them to think that you're like a socially like
normal,
capable person. Yeah. And then finally, when you feel comfortable enough, quote unquote, with them, which to me, like a lot of straight guys, what comfortable means is, well, they're not going to leave me. They're going to have a harder time disconnecting from this relationship.
Yeah.
Then they choose to like reveal these things about themselves. Like, isn't that manipulative? Isn't that?
Yeah, that is definitely manipulative, for sure.
Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't see, it's like Stel said, I want to tell, like, I don't know. I want to share things with the person I'm with. And that's why, like I'm with Stel. It doesn't make sense to me that you want to hide any part of you, right? Like,
yeah,
When
even
I
if you know
said-
that it could be a disagreement, or even
Exactly.
if you think that, like, oh, this is very uncommon territory for my boyfriend or my girlfriend, like, and I get it that, like, you don't want to, like, friends is more surface level usually, even with best friends. Like, you don't, like, if you know your friend is absolutely not into photography, then why are you going to bother your friend with it, right? Like, you'll just find a different friend that is into photography.
Yes.
Like, that's the whole faceting that I was talking about. But to
when
me,
I
what
said that-
differentiates like a boyfriend and a girlfriend is actually like trying to get that, like, literally show everything. So even if you know that your boyfriend is not into photography at all, you still want to share that part of yourself, and vice versa too,
That's
right?
not
But-
what I was like talking about. Like interests and stuff. I'm not even like hiding a personality part or like interest. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like my family is fucked up. I'm not gonna tell my partner everything about my family. I'm gonna try to like protect him from them. That's like the kind of thing I was trying.
absolutely losing it.
like, what do you think of this? Like,
Just Choco's fist like this when they were covering Joey with the sleeve. Yes, but like do it to where like we can't see any of your fingers, and do it like here. But like close it more.
Paul?
Yes, like that.
Are you
Okay.
okay?
I saw that while you guys were talking. And I was like,
I'm curious. Like,
Pop, stay on topic. Don't do
what
the challenge.
Do you
Come on.
agree? Do you think? Like, what do you think of this?
I agree with you and Stealth because, like, my idea of a relationship is, oh, that's your best friend, but you just have sex and you do stuff. Like, that's it. That's your best friend, but you like do romantic stuff with, and you may spend a little more time with than like your other best friends, but that's your like core person.
Oh,
And
that's so interesting to me.
I like to think that I don't know. I like to think that like oh wait, never mind. This is off topic. Never mind. Me having to like double check with myself in my brain.
Okay, let's stay on the topic then. But that's interesting
you're
that
longer
you say
into a
that as in like
relationship, then I
best
agree.
friend. Yeah, but like if you say that to you, a boyfriend basically is just your best friend, but you also have sex with them, that's where I disagree. I think a boyfriend to me, like I said before, like to me, a boyfriend is my best friend, but beyond that, like I said, like because I can, like, I'm a person who can do friends with benefits. I cannot do hookups, but I can do friends with benefits. Like if I'm really good friends and there's this kind of mutual understanding that you, like, if I were to be in like single, not in a relationship, and I would have, my needs, my urges or whatever, I would never be able to do a hookup. But if I have this friend, I'm not saying that I have a friend like this, but if I have this friend where we're both on like an equal mental level and we kind of connect in that way, I could have sex with them, but not in a relationship with them, and keep it like that. I can do that. So, and they can be even like a really very good friend. So, but they're still not my boyfriend. There's still something else there that makes my best friend, who I'm having sex with, my boyfriend. There's still a very distinct difference, and that's what I said earlier, where like that faceting of myself. Like I guess I don't want to say I have a big personality, but I kind of do, but more in the sense of like I have an extremely vast amount of interests and things I can nerd about and things I'm interested in, and like whether that be music or hobbies or I don't know, anything really, like games or whatever, like I don't know, knowledge in general, I guess. And I really do find, like, I've always been fascinating myself throughout my entire life with like different friend groups. And that's where for me personally, I differentiate the line is I stop fascinating and I
Yeah.
just give this person my everything. Like even the shit that I know will bore them to death,
Yes.
I don't care. I'm gonna feed it to
Yes,
them, and they can also feed it to me, right? Like they can be into some really weird niche shit that I've always found extremely boring into their entire life, and they can bother me with it. And I'll try to at least like engage with it, and that's where I draw the line, because I'll never bother any of you guys with something that I know you guys are gonna find boring. But I trust I will bother my boyfriend with
Right.
it. I'm like, bitch, you will be getting this spoon whether you want it or not.
Exactly.
And I don't know. And that's for me the difference, not just the sexual part. And yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
so
it's-
then with me having that core fundamental as a definition almost of a relationship, I just don't understand how how most relationships can work that I see around, because I'm like, this isn't even your friend. Like you
Yeah.
don't even talk to this
Yeah.
person. Like I don't know. Like I have this friend. I'm gonna use as an example now, and I do not question the integrity or the authenticity of his relationship. I do think that they love each other to what they consider love and a relationship, right? Like that is true to them. But when every time I ask about the relationship, I'm like, so what do you guys do? What do you guys talk about? Because like you guys have nothing in common. You guys don't share any hobbies, no interests. Like you basically do, like you both do your own thing all the time. Like you're playing games, you're doing this, you're doing that with your friends, and then she's doing that with her friends, she's doing whatever with her dog, I don't know. And then I'm like, and when you guys come together, like what do you do? Talk about the weather, talk about the dog, like I don't know, talk about the food. Like I just don't understand that, right? I'm like, what do you guys talk about? Like this is crazy to me. I'm like, you guys have nothing in common. Every time I ask you about her, like her interests, and like it just seems very flat, very surfaced. And I'm like, but then he tells her, oh, I love him, I love her, I love her this, I love her that. I'm like, and I don't not believe him. I think he's like, I think it's true when he says that he loves her. But I don't know, it's just so weird to me. I don't know, like maybe it's just love or relationships is just very different to other people, and sometimes it's just not, maybe it's just not that serious to some people. I don't know.
Because I mean, you're always gonna have separate interests, right? Like it's not.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, like I feel like there has to be some overlap, right? And it can't just be the sex.
Yeah.
Like it can't. Like I think
there has
it
to be
can't.
something.
there has to be something, Jack. But like I'd go crazy if the person I was with, like if I was really into like Discord and video games, right? Like this has literally happened in the last like 5 years for me, where I've become like someone who's really active online, at least in this way, where I'm able to talk to like other people, right? Like directly. And even like some of my best friends who I tried to like bring into this, girl, they hated it because they didn't understand it. And like some of them even stopped talking to me because I spend so much fucking time here. And it's like,
Actually,
yes, because they don't get it. They're like, why do you like these people that you've never met better? And I'm like, it's not that I like them better. It's just that it's something different. It's like, I invite
different
you guys,
change of environment.
yeah, like I invite you guys to come and like experience it with me, right? And like they tried it and they hated it because I think they get insecure that like my friends are obviously my age, so it's like I'm really different to like most fucking 31-year-olds, where obviously a lot of people aren't spending time online. They don't know how to talk to people, or they think it's really fucking weird for some reason to talk to people because it's not their norm. But like if it were my partner who did that to me, bro, that would be miserable for me. Like if you don't like, not that I want you to be here all the fucking time, but at least I want you to know that this part of my life exists. And if you ever feel like you want to come in here, like do it. Like it'll be fun for both of us. Like I can't imagine ever being like, no, I don't want you in here. Like no. Like this is my me space. Like no, I'll have a me space, and it won't be like, I don't know. It's so strange.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing for me as well. And maybe that I also understand if people disagree there, and that's fine. But for me, my me space is my me space, but it's the only space that also has room for my partner.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have room for any other friend that I have. Obviously, there's limits, but usually there's always like a small, like if I really have my me space, there's always this small door open that is for my partner, and it's never there for anybody else. And that's also how I know personally of like, oh yeah, this works, because even when I feel like I need my own space and time, there's still that tiny space and time for them there, when there's like, it's like a no rule for anybody else. Like, I don't know. But that's also a very personal thing, and I very much understand that there's people who do actually need their own space and their own time. That no, not even a partner is allowed to enter my me space. So I don't know.
See, that's like the difference, because for me, me space is literally. Well, hold on. Are you introvert or extrovert?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm very introverted.
Okay, interesting. No, because for me, me space is literally just me. No partner, no friends, no family. Like I need to be alone for me to like recharge everything, to be able to.
Yeah, that's
like,
I get that,
and that's fine. That like for obviously you as you said, you have like some where you're like, okay, no more boyfriend space, like leave.
Yeah.
But for me, that's I have like just me space where I'm like constantly, and then when I have like the need and stuff, partner or family or friends, like I like leave my space to be able to accommodate other people.
I see.
Go ahead, Pub.
I was gonna say I want to go back to fundamentals.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
We can.
That I was literally about to say that I think this mentality of not wanting to share certain parts of yourself, right? Or like having this separation, like Stel said, really faceted, right? That it goes back to this, right? Like,
yeah,
because in a way, right, he trusted her enough already to tell her, like, even indirectly or directly, right? Like, I don't like gay people, or I like, basically you're telling that other person, or I use slurs, right? And like,
maybe he was just trying to get out of the relationship. He just made up shit. He was like,
No,
I'm homophobic and I'm racist. Let me get out.
Imagine if he did.
That's the worst way imaginable that I could think to get out of a relationship, Chaco. Chaco's gonna start saying slurs because they don't like the person they're with. It's like,
break up with me. Come on, break up with me.
Imagine they're like, wait, that's really sexy. Keep on saying more.
See, that's when it comes out, Chaco. That's when you find out what they're really like. But okay, I come from like a more emotional side of it, Pub, and I don't want to say I understand where your friend is coming from, right? But I've never, I don't want to say I've never had this with a partner, but like, I think it's weird that he's Filipino, honestly. Like, but I guess not really.
It's the part you have problems with. I can excuse racism, but I'd rather let it be Filipino.
No, I guess it makes sense though, because like even Mexican people, like there's just a bunch of homophobia and like racism, fucking for sure. Even if people don't want to admit it, like people usually think it's only white people, right? But it's not. But like for me at least, if I were in her situation, I understand her mentality of not necessarily you think you can change somebody. But see, personally, I have this more with people that I want to like include into spaces or like get to know better. Where I've had people on Discord like literally say the N-word really, really casually. They say slurs like really casually, right? And I'm of the opinion, and this is because like I never want to see somebody be left out, right? You need to give people a chance. And I don't expect everybody to give someone an opportunity to grow. That's not everybody's job. It's not everybody's place. But for me personally, like I've talked to multiple people. Like, Pop, you know, I've DM'd you when you do some stupid shit or, right? Like, I've DM'd people like that. Not because I think it's like some moral thing where I feel like I'm a good person and I have to do this, right? No. It's because I want them to feel included, not to feel excluded, not to feel alienated. Because maybe they didn't know, maybe they weren't aware, like, and I've had that happen where people who aren't from like this country or Canada or Europe, they say like they say the N-word, And I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
you can't say that. Like, you're not allowed to say
Yeah.
that here, and you shouldn't say that because bling, bling, bling. And I've never had a situation where that person's like, well, I'm gonna say it anyway because this is like never. It's always been,
Mhm.
oh, I didn't know it was that big of a deal.
Mhm.
And I know people get even mad at that explanation, but to me, it's like, if they never say it again, who cares?
Yeah.
But that's just me personally, right? And
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm talking about friends. Like when it comes to a partner, I don't know if I would have that same grace.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strange because I want to say I would like give him the benefit of the doubt of being able to grow, but I don't know if it would be like necessarily something I would want to do for that person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
don't know,
interesting, right? Because it's your partner. You would
Yeah.
think you would have more grace or you would want to work on it more, but for some reason here you feel like maybe I mean I guess that kind of makes sense because I feel like if that were the case, right, in your case, Garen, where I feel like that would be working on him instead of working on the relationship
Yes.
or something. And I feel
Well-
like you just want to work on the relationship with this person and not on him as an individual or something. I
And-
don't know.
This is new me now, like adult me, right? Looking at this situation
Yeah.
from my perspective, which is fuck, me losing that thought. Basically, like when somebody does some stupid shit like that or says something like that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking 30 years old, right? I'm not gonna sit here and look for that in a partner, right? That's just not
Yeah.
like maybe when I was younger, yeah. Like I would be able to excuse these things more. But now, like as an adult, I'd be like, you should know better. Because I'm generally probably gonna
Yeah.
be looking for someone my age, right? And I'm not gonna
Yeah.
have time to be like
With the same emotional understanding and intelligence.
exactly. Exactly.
I have that exact same mindset, Gurn, because I don't know if I'm really interested in a guy and he, for example, uses uses slurs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that like that's definitely a him issue that he needs to work on,
Yes.
and me knowing that he is like comfortable with saying that and is okay with saying that and like has that kind of frame and set of mindset, I wouldn't want that, and I wouldn't want to like attempt to try and talk it out with him
Yeah.
or like fix it, because like one, you should know better, two, you're like, I would like to think you're grown enough to understand about that, especially if you're like on the internet or whatever. I don't know. I think it's very strange, and I think it's very weird, and I think that I don't know. People should just know better.
And see, Pub, I think that's like, and me and Stealth actually had a kind of like this
Argument,
conversation,
yeah.
with somebody
Mhm.
else in the Discord, where, especially I see it with younger people now, that they have this expectation of everybody to kind of know what is and is not acceptable to say.
Mhm.
And like, I don't want to put words in this person's mouth that we were arguing with, because I like their wording was really exact, and
Mhm.
basically they were saying that everybody nowadays should have like the knowledge and the information to know what, like you just said, basically, right? Like you're on the internet, but there's always going to be people who aren't using the internet the same way you are, right? And as much as you
Disagree with
might,
that.
yeah, as much as you might hate it, like I'm not going to sit here and pretend, like for me, example, I'm going to use myself as an example. When I was 16 or 17, I said some stupid shit because, well, I was on the internet and nobody was there to check me, and all my friends were saying it. And it wasn't even other people telling me that it was wrong not to say that stuff that I stopped saying it, right? It
Mhm.
wasn't until I understood that what I was saying could harm someone else.
Mhm.
Even like my defense for it was, well, I'm not using it against this person or this group of people, right? That was what my line of thinking was. But I lacked the emotional like intelligence to understand that this could hurt someone unintentionally, whether it's directed at them or not. And it wasn't
Yeah.
until I understood that I was like, damn, I was saying some fucked up stupid shit, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why I have more grace for people. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, like, especially when you're younger, like, Pop, you're what, 17, right?
Mhm.
To me, like, think about your friend. she's 17, this guy's 16, which is even younger than her.
Mhm.
Even if you tell him not to do or say stuff, right, he's probably gonna do it because he's a 16-year-old boy. 16-year-old boys are stupid. Like, there's
Yeah.
no real other way to say it. And I know it's not an excuse, but until you understand what you're doing is hurting other people, you're never really gonna like care enough to not do it, basically. Right?
Yeah, it's really about understanding it and not just like you can have 5 billion people tell you like, oh, you shouldn't say this. And you can be like, oh, okay, I guess I shouldn't say it. But like, it's not until you really understand like, oh, like these words can have a really big impact on people, right? Like hurt them. It's not until you really have that self-understanding, that's when it clicks. And I think to get to that point of understanding, you do need some kind of like for someone who has really not really been exposed to like even cancel culture or like online, like someone who's, you know, I don't know, like someone who's more from like a removed kind of country, like let's say someone from either like I don't know, maybe Asia or I don't know, like in any kind of country where this is very not that prevalent, I guess.
Mhm.
If you obviously they are gonna have encountered people saying on the internet like, oh, you shouldn't say these words, but seeing other people say, oh, you shouldn't say this and should do that, it doesn't create that understanding of like, why should I not say this?
Yeah.
Like, why is this? You can understand that, oh, people are not saying this word for XYZ, but like, I don't know, it doesn't come with that understanding. And you can't really expect people to have that understanding just because all the information is accessible and is out there. Like,
Yeah.
like Gurm said, like people just not everybody uses the internet the same way. And yeah, if you are in a space, like if you are in a Discord space and you know that this person has Twitter and is a very active Twitter user, yeah, then you can have more this assumption like, oh yeah, this person should actually know better. Like they're in Discord environments, communities, you know, there's no way that they're only in Discord servers that tolerate, you know, like slurs and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Like that's different. But if you're talking from a person who, for example, they're like what do you call it, like
Norm
a student
pilled?
from no even norm pill, but yeah, but I'm talking about, let's say like there's this like 19-year-old boy who is studying in America right now, but he moved from Egypt like half a year ago, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm telling you, those people, like, they're not exposed to any of this stuff. They do not have this understanding. They could probably have been saying the N-word for like 18 years in a row with nobody ever there to check them.
Mhm.
And when they come here, obviously they're gonna get slowly exposed to like, oh, you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't say that, but they still don't have that understanding. And that's where, like Gurm said, that's where you can have where I think also it's okay to give these people the benefit of the doubt, maybe not just like a chance, right? A chance like, oh, you shouldn't say this. And try to give them that understanding and give them the benefit of the doubt, because really some people just haven't been exposed to that. And I'm speaking from firsthand like experience with like people who truly have no ill intentions, who are not idiots, who are smart, but they just haven't been exposed to this stuff in the right way.
Also-
And I don't know.
Adding on to that, and I'm gonna say this doesn't only apply for this applies for like a lot of things. America isn't the center of the world, okay? Like, not everything. There are some words in English that just
Yeah.
that are like slurs in English, but they're just completely normal words for us. For example, the F slur, it's a music instrument in German. It's literally a completely normal music instrument. And when I remember when I like said it, I think it was with you. You were like not necessarily shocked, but you were like, "What the hell is that?" Or like, "Why are you saying that?" It's just like people have to understand that sometimes, other than not knowing that it's a slur, sometimes it's also like a completely normal fucking word in a different language. There was this thing where this Instagram model posted a picture with her dad and then wrote "Babi" or something in the description, and people like started shitting on her. They were like, "Why are you saying this slur?" And it was like it meant father in her language, but like because most of her following was like from this other country where it was a slur, they just started like hating on her. So it's like you have to understand. You need the whole context. Like you can't just cancel someone over a slur when they don't know it's one.
Yeah.
But then again, that comes back to like, yeah, you don't have to, you have no responsibility, or you don't have to give
Exactly,
other
yeah.
people, right? Like if someone says, like, you don't need, nobody has the, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you don't own anybody anything, right? Like you don't own
Yeah.
anybody a second chance. You don't own anybody an explanation. You don't own anybody a chance of growth. But like, you kind of have to be reasonable here, right? Like I think anyway. Like if you're gonna have that purist mentality of like, no, everybody should know just better. Like we're 2023.
Yeah, no, that's
If
just
I hear
impossible.
someone say the R word or any kind of word, like I'm gonna like just like remove this person completely from my, like they should know better, right? Like for me personally, that is an unrealistic mindset to have. For me, even though it can work for other people, and that's
Yeah.
fine if that does, because I've met really amazing people that I have given this chance of growth and understanding, and it has worked out. And I wouldn't have had these people if I had this unrealistic mindset. For me personally, right? Because like I said, I have first-hand experience with this, where people just haven't really been exposed to this at all because they come from different backgrounds, different countries, different whatever, and I think that's okay to some extent, as long as they're not like, oh no, I don't care, I'm just gonna keep saying it, or like, oh no, I don't give a shit, like XYZ, I'll just not say it around like whatever, like I don't know, like yeah, that's just my 2 cents, I guess. I don't know.
If it's like, if it's someone random, or okay, if I'm in a friend group with somebody and someone who I don't know really all that well kind of comes in and like is conversating with everybody and after says like a slur or something, I'm not gonna. I feel like there would be less grace for me for that person just because I don't really know them all that much.
Yeah, that's
And
okay.
like if I don't know them all that much and them saying that would make me want to know them a little less,
Yeah.
which is my own bias and my own like judgment in my mind.
Yeah.
But if it's somebody that is like a friend of mine or an acquaintance, I would probably talk it out or like
Yeah,
explain
for
and be
sure.
like, do you
That's your
know like
standard,
what you're
Paul.
saying, why
Yeah.
that might be
Yeah,
bad?
yeah.
That's your
Okay.
standard. And I don't think
Mm.
it's a bad thing to have standards, even for random people, right?
Yeah.
But like in this situation, like as much as you might not like this, right? Of what your friend is doing, it's basically your problem, not hers.
Yeah.
That you don't like that who this man is now and kid, I guess I should say. Because like I understand where she's coming from, where not necessarily, oh, I can fix him, right? Like I know it's a funny joke to say that. And this is like where it can get like really iffy. Because if you, and this is why I don't like making this call in a romantic situation for myself. Because it can get bad, right? If there's someone you're so infatuated with that you're willing to let certain things slide and certain things slide. And where you're like, oh, well, let's give him a chance, right? But that infatuation can be like you not reflecting on their behaviors, right? So if your friend tells you, yeah, I want to date him if he asks, right? And then they do date, and like a year from now, you're like, okay, well, how are you guys doing? Blah, blah, blah. How's the relationship? And she's like, oh, it's really good. And then you ask her, well, is he still like a homophobe, right? And she's like, well, we haven't really talked about it. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not her job to fix this person, but if she's going to be with him, it's like, you have to be responsible for what are you trying to achieve here, right? Like, if you're okay with him doing this, say it. Like, you need to say it because then you, Pob, you can make a decision on whether you want to be her friend. Like, I don't know. To me, that's all you can do, right? And it's not, you didn't come here asking for advice, but to me, that's what that's how I would do it personally. Like, because, and this is like a lot of straight couples I want to say that this happens in, where it's like, even now it's a joke, right? Liberal girlfriend, conservative boyfriend. Like, it's funny, haha, but it does happen a lot. Like, it's weird. And I feel like it can go one of either ways, where you guys have common ground and you can talk things out, or like the girlfriend just completely like starts being the way the boyfriend is. But to me, that just means that person was always like that to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. This is like really weird like areas. Like I literally read up on this before we started the podcast, and everything I saw is like people asking for advice, like, "Oh, I found out my boyfriend is a little racist," right? And it's
Yeah.
like that. The fun is a little. Like, what does that mean, girl?
Yeah.
Like he says the N word, but only sometimes. Like, like he doesn't like Mexicans,
like only on
but
occasion,
if they're
only on
not-
special
like, what?
days, holidays.
A little racist, like right? No, like I understand if you're prejudiced against people or certain races, and that stuff can go away. Like, good example, my parents, when I was growing up, didn't like black people, didn't like white people. And I literally told this story the other day in the Discord. When I brought my two best friends home from high school, one was literally a white girl and the other one was a black guy. And I didn't make them my friends because I thought it would piss off my parents. It was just like a coincidence, right? That these two people were the ones that I liked the best. And I brought them home one time, and my parents absolutely loved both of them. Like, absolutely loved them. And I want to say that it definitely softened up like how they view different people, right? It's like, I guess not everybody's horrible, right?
Yeah.
And now that they're like older, they're definitely not the way they used to be, but they still say some really offhanded shit, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what am I going to do? Hate them? No, they're my parents. It's just the way that they were brought up, and nobody ever telling them like, hey, maybe you shouldn't say that about black people. Like, maybe it's not true
Yeah.
about every single one, right? Like, that was what me and my brothers and sisters did, because we grew up around black people. We understood like not every single fucking person. You can't base your experience off of things you hear. It's just not right. And I don't know. It's so weird. Like I understand what, because you guys are young and you should have like this awareness that like gay people aren't all fucking horrible. But I do understand like it's young love as much as, and that sounds stupid, but it's like I feel like it's really rose-colored glasses a lot of the times. I don't know.
Generally, can't like understand that girl. Like you, I don't even know how to say this. Like, if I ever like had a like fell in love with someone and then it turned out they were like racist or homophobic, I'd just be like, I'm not gonna pursue this because what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine being like, oh, if they ask me out, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Like, no, I'm sorry, but if you can't accept other people for something they didn't choose, they had literally no control over. No. But that again, you like that guy is still young. Maybe he would like clever up, but I don't know.
Like he still has a lot to learn and like ways to go and like
Yeah.
things to experience. And I feel like he won't ever change his like homophobic mindsets or like the stuff that he says out loud unless he has like, and this goes with everybody, unless he has like an actual like personal experience with it.
Yes.
That's what I was telling my friend, how like nothing that she will say will change him and like how he views the world just in general, and he has to have an actual experience that hits him to his heart that makes his mind change in some way, shape, or form.
And that's, I mean, that's what means that basically we're saying, right? We're that understanding that, you know, it has to come from you. Like,
Yeah. But I completely understand that there's people who just don't have that grace. Like, that's fine.
Ever.
And I respect that too. Like, you know, like, and that's, I think, where people also need to respect other people who have different opinions about approaching this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Like, you
Yeah.
can't be that, like, I don't have this room, like, you know, like, even, especially, I understand if you are a minority who has faced a lot of this kind of shit, like, I get that you just don't have the room and the grace for people to deal with it, and that's completely valid, and I respect that too. Like, I'm like, you know, I'm sorry that you went through things that you went through, and I understand you as well, but I don't want you to like have condemn me for trying, right? Like, I don't know.
and then
And as long as that exists in the same room, then we're all good, to me anyway. Like,
what else did you say? Like, I'm so sorry, you went through everything, like,
Yeah.
and we started at the end.
well, I think we can still talk a bit more about the core values, like, of like approaching a relationship, because this is obviously, this all entangles up into that. But like, I just thought it was interesting when Pop said like, oh, like, I have this, you know, like, obviously you as a person, I'm assuming if you have somewhat of a personality, you're gonna have 20, 30, 40 check boxes of stuff you're interested in, right? But you have these, I'm assuming 4 or 5 checkboxes of core values that you need to align before you can even approach the rest, you know? Like, it's like, oh, if this doesn't align, then I'm not even gonna bother with like the rest. What is that for you? Like, do you have them? Like, do you know them by heart? Like, these are my core values, or is it just kind of like a general in the moment kind of feeling when you talk to this person, like, oh, we just don't really connect on a core value? Or is it really like, no, like it's this ABC kind of thing? Like, if this doesn't line up, I'm not even gonna bother trying like anything else.
I think it's in the moment thing, because
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have it like as like a list that
Yeah.
like I don't have like a like engraved list on like stone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a like in the moment thing that like if they say something that I'm like, that's a little like explain more on that. And like they explain more
Scratch
on
his
that.
head.
No, exactly. Scratch his head and looks away. Like like
Yeah. Go ahead, Pop.
I don't know. Like explain more on that, and if they explain more on that and it's something that is part of my fundamentals that I realize in the moment that I'm like, oh, like I don't really like that specific part about you, then I'll question that a little bit and like fight that in my mind for a bit to see. But I don't know. I don't know exactly. I'm trying to think of something that would be like a full-on like no deal breaker and like fully. I don't
To
know.
an extreme, yeah. To
Yeah.
like a what's the word? Like a
full
I don't
stop.
know.
Homophobic, racist.
Yeah, no, yeah, like
transphobic.
a full stop, but it's not a full stop. It's more
Constant.
like a like absolute. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Well,
Yeah.
Like, here's another thing, and it kind of goes into this, and it's a question for all of you guys. And maybe it's because I'm such a sentimental person, but I feel like you can't help who you fall in love with sometimes, right?
Oh yeah,
That's true.
definitely.
And let's say you do recognize the worst parts of somebody, and you're able to like take this person not just at face value, but you're able to like this is all the good stuff about them, and then this is all the like really questionable like things about them. Do you think, and to me this is like what your friend I guess might be going through, like do the good qualities and like the likes and everything like shared experiences that we have, is it ever possible for them to outweigh like all this bad stuff, right? How bad does bad have to, I guess it's the same question Stealth asked, right? Like like because yeah, for me definitely racism is full stop. If somebody I was with was like, I don't like black people, or I don't like even white people, like I know some people, but even it's like becoming such a normal thing now, and maybe you guys disagree where with a lot of people of color or black people, they're like, I don't like white people at all. Full stop, they don't like white people. And I'm like, I don't like that. Like I would not like that in a partner. Like that kind of stuff, right, would stop me. But like your friend, like it's so weird because he said he doesn't want to hang around gay people. Like that's to me, that's like homophobic. Like, don't bring him near me. I guess the next thing would be like, well, if you do come near me, like what happens? Like, is he gonna hate crime you? Like what? Like what is the extent? I guess this is so like I'm not trying to justify it, but I'm trying to like figure out a way of, I guess, trying to understand where your friend is coming from. But she's young. Like that's another thing, right? Like I was 16 and 17, and I know that I would do stupid shit for a guy if he asked me when I was that age. Like now it's different, and I would say that it didn't get different until these last like 4 or 5 years for me even. So it's like I don't know. It's so strange. Like just trying to like navigate this. For me, I don't know.
I'm still thinking.
Silence is different.
I mean, yeah, the original question was like, what's acceptable, right? When you fall in love with somebody, like what is the acceptability?
I think you can have your core values of what you think is like a yes or no, right? Like I have them too. I had them too. But like you said, like when you really fall in love with someone, sometimes it's just out of your control, and you can play with that a little bit. Like for example, this is very personal, but like religion for me is something very absolute. Like I have a very like set opinion on religion. Like I love I have a very love-hate relationship with religion. Like I have a very admiration for religion in certain aspects, and I have a strong dislike to religion in certain aspects. And to me, it was always like, oh, like I don't think I can really date anyone who's like very into religion, like whether it doesn't matter what kind of religion, doesn't like I'm just like if they're very caught up and like their decision making and their way of thinking gets too influenced by religion, like they can pray and they can be religious, that's okay to some extent, but if their individuality as a person is too affected by religion, then that's just an absolute no for me, right? And that's something very personal, and I think that can exist. But when I don't know, when you meet sometimes someone like, I don't know, like that can be played with. If you fall in love with someone in a certain way, I guess. I don't know, like this is so hard to like actually think about. I've never really thought about this, so that's interesting. But yeah, I think your core values, like for the relationship, for me, it has something that has been played with in the past that I thought I had an absolute on, but then because I fell in love with this person, I did, it did open me up to like, maybe I shouldn't be so absolute about it, because maybe there's more to it than what my opinion is formed, right? Like, but obviously, like, yeah, I do have my core values, and I do have my absolute no's and my things that I think I can play with. But even then, they can still change, and it can still be. But obviously, if I were single and I was like, back in the dating scene, and I would meet this really fun guy, and like I'd hang out with like a day with him, and it was like a wonderful day. And at the end of the day, I found out like, oh, this guy is like racist. Like he like, we have a wonderful day, amazing day, whatever, we go out, and all of a sudden at the end of our day, we see a black person, and like, they make some racist comment or whatever, and it's not even black, and it's not even like.
Do you see that person? I can't see their skin's too dark. Like...
yeah, and then but like a really like a deep rooted racist comment, right? Like like that really confirms that, oh, this person is racist. It's not even like prejudice. It's not even ignorance. It's racism. Then I'll be like, no, like I'm sorry. Today, thank you for today, but it ends right here. No. Like this is it, right? Like,
you're just like, no, nothing.
Like. Thank you, like, so yeah.
I think there's always gonna be like some or like a few or like a handful of fundamentals that you have in your brain that might like bend or stray a little bit when you fall in love with someone, because like Gurman, what you were saying, how you can't really control who you like date and fall in love with.
No, date just kind of like, no, you can control who you date.
Oh, not date, but fall in love with.
Fall in love with,
yeah, that's not. It's like very different.
It's out of your control to some extent,
And I don't mean like for people who might be confused. I don't mean like love at first sight. I mean you hang around with someone long enough. Like I've had friends with less than ideal opinions, and like what I would consider ideal opinions, quote unquote, right? Let's just say conservative. Like I've had a lot of conservative friends where we don't agree to the same things, where we don't have the same values, but at the end of the day I was still able to be friends with them because right, like you find middle ground.
Along,
and you find understanding, even though we disagreed on a lot. And like obviously these relationships could turn into something else, and I had that situation happen to me. Like it didn't happen overnight, right? Like I knew what this person didn't like, what they really, really liked, what they really, really hated. And for me, the good stuff outweighed what I personally thought was bad, right? It wasn't anything like crazy, like it wasn't racism, it wasn't fucking like homophobia, it wasn't anything like that. It was like little things, right? That
other kind of like smaller fundamentals that you don't really think about all that often until it like pops up.
Exactly. And that's like what Stealth was saying, right? Of like these little things that move around, and suddenly you're like, I would never have like I didn't change my morals, right? Like we would argue a fucking lot. Like it was crazy. But at the end of the day, I still really like this person just because of who they were. Like this, like all of their beliefs don't mean that that's who they are, right? But it's like, this is so different. And this is why I'm like, it's kind of black and white almost with your friend, because this guy straight up said, I mean, he's basically telling her he's homophobic, right? and it's not the same. Like it, but there's also that lack of what's the word I want here? Like
Empathy?
no, it's like it could be more complicated because he's younger, but it seems really simple now because he's younger. And when you're older, more complex. When you're older, things get more complex. You're an adult and you have all these other things going on. And racism is not complex at all, right? It's either you think it's good or you think it's bad. There is no gray area. There is no, well, if it's nothing, like point blank period, racism is, and homophobia too, like, but see that, and that's where
you should
that's
be
where
president. I don't know.
I don't know, girl. I don't. No. I'm just like, I'm telling you, like, I've had a lot of different friends, and even homophobic friends, where at the end of the day, they're like, "Oh, you're okay for a gay person," right? Like they've said shit like that to me, and it wasn't until they got to know me that they understood. Oh, like gay people come in, like, how would you say it? Like, there's difference, right? There's like differences, and they're not all the way I thought they were. And I'm not saying everybody I met was like that, because no, there's certainly people who I met who were homophobic and they stayed that way. But there's definitely been a lot of people too where they've had a mindset, and because I chose to like give them that opportunity to like get to know someone who's not like them, that they came out different, right? And I don't say this as like this, I think I'm like educating people or anything. No, I just wanted to be this person's friend. And like what I find a lot of the time is that people like that are like just alone. Like they're really lonely people, right? And in order to fit in, sometimes you have to like have these like really extreme views or opinions so that the people who do accept you, like they basically think you're a part of, like, does that make sense? Like if all this guy has been exposed to is straight guys who think ripping on black people and hating gay people is the coolest thing ever, like that's of course who he's gonna be, right? Because that's all he knows. And if no gay person, and no gay person does have to give him the chance, right? Like there is no gay person who has to be a hero and put themselves in an uncomfortable situation to get this guy to open up his mind.
A gay savior.
Literally, I'm not saying that at all. But if nobody does that, he's not gonna know. Like it's just it's a fact, right? And I don't know. It's really weird, and it gets really complicated, at least for me, because I don't know.
Because of past experiences, right? You're not talking of idealistic mindsets. You're talking about a experience, and that's when you realize that like, this is complex.
There's 12 years of age difference between me and you, Pob. And that 12 years, like 1 year is a lot. We've talked about this, right? Like us knowing you, we talked about how much you grew in just 3 years. Like there's a lot of life experience there for me personally, where like, I don't know. I understand where you're coming from, and I understand where your friend is coming from. And it's just really weird.
Oh.
Chaco, I
need to hear from you, Chaco.
What was the question?
I mean, like for you, what are you willing to forgive or to accept in a person that you really, 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 really love, right? And like, just what is like?
So,
what are you? How
like,
flexible?
One of the first things I definitely draw the line at is like racism, because we grew up in like a really small town, and in the beginning, like when we moved here, we were like one of the only people from outside of Austria. So a lot of people were not racist, xenophobic, and like my skin is white, I'm white, I literally look like everyone else here except for my nose. And so I don't even want to imagine how much worse it was for like people that weren't white or didn't look like Austrian people. So, and it was such a horrible feeling growing up, just to constantly get racist comments and like get the police called on us for shit we didn't do. Yeah, I'll tell that on another podcast.
Okay.
And like I draw the line definitely in racism. Like that's the first thing. Like there's a thing. Okay, so I don't mind poking a little bit of fun I do it. My friends do it. Like I don't mind when people make fun of Georgians because I make fun of Georgians. I'm fine with it. Like I don't
Yeah.
like people that can't take a joke about
Yes,
themselves. Like
exactly.
you can't be too serious. Like
Mhm.
that's just not healthy.
There
But
was some.
yeah.
So, my mom was knocking at my door because there's some scary white man outside our door. He's holding a binder, and he looks old.
Jehovah's
Census.
Witness?
No, I think he's like here for like home selling or something. I don't know. My mom didn't say anything, but she was just knocking on the door and she was like, "Check who it is." And I was like, "Mom, it's some scary white man with like he's old and he has a binder in his hand." And so she was like, "Oh, well, like just go talk to him and tell him like your mom isn't home." And I was like, "Why the fuck do I need to speak to him? I don't want to open the door." Like,
Just let him knock, girl. He'll go away.
exactly, that's what I was saying, and she was so upset about it. I was like, "Girl, literally just let him knock." But continue. Sorry.
Where was I? Yeah. So racism, nope.
Yeah.
I think. Oh God, I don't know. I don't know what my line is. I'm normally okay with most things.
Yeah.
Like obviously, don't use slurs. I don't like that.
I guess the
Um,
question I'm asking is more of a hypothetical, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, would you guys give wiggle room? I guess to those things, right? Because like Pop's friend here is giving wiggle room. Like, I don't imagine she woke up one day and was like, "Damn, I'm gonna like a homophobe," right? Like, it's not like that. That's not what you
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean.
It's like she just really, really, really likes this guy, and he is what he is right now.
mhm. No, I don't think I'd have. I don't think I have a wriggle room. I'm gonna be honest. The only thing that I might be like somewhat okay with. So I'm a very shy person. I don't
Yeah,
say what's
which
on my
is a
mind.
surprise considering
So
last
if
episode.
my partner was like somebody who's really frank and just says what he thinks, it would make me really uncomfortable, especially like in a public situation.
Yeah,
But I would definitely have a lot more wriggle room in that like aspect. I'd be like, oh, if he tells like somebody like if he's not rude about it, if he's just frank about it
yeah,
and honest, I'm fine with that. But
Yeah.
like I also don't like when somebody's like rude to someone else when they have like when somebody's like rude to waiters and stuff. I don't like that. I don't understand that. Like that's not
Yeah.
their fault, man. They're just trying to make a living. I don't know. As long as it's not like racism or homophobia or transphobia or something, I have
As
quite
long
a
as
lot
it's
of
not your core values and fundamentals.
exactly.
Yeah.
Then I have a lot of wriggle room.
Yeah.
Then it's like fine.
Yeah, which
There's
brings us
also
back
like
to
this.
the original,
Yeah, there's also this whole thing with like, what do you count as cheating? How much like wriggle room do you have until it's like cheating for you? There's also this thing, you know, where like some people are like, oh, kissing someone on the cheek, that's already cheating, or just holding
Oh.
somebody else's arm, that's already cheating. Like, no,
Yeah.
there's family, there's cultures where you kiss on the cheeks and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. For me, cheating is if you start kissing on the lips, maybe, or like, you know,
Did
start
you
having
see-
sex.
For me,
but
Feels a
cheating
little
is
too
like being it's not even being in love with someone else. It's literally just having either like sexual intimacy with someone else, or falling in love with someone else. Like that's cheating for me. It's
Yeah.
really that simple. I don't know. Like
again, this is like something that the couples have to decide between themselves and stuff. But
yeah, exactly. Like it's very personal and very like you can even agree on what like this is things relationships should talk about, like what you consider cheating and whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Um,
I think this was a very insightful, I don't know, argument, topic, whatever. I don't know. I like this.
yeah. Anything else this guy did or said, or any questions we missed, Pop?
Well,
That was it.
I honestly, I only remember the first and second thing you said, Pop. Everything else, because you kind of said everything really all at once.
Yeah.
So I don't like. We spend a lot of time talking about like, I guess our personal relationship between, but also like, I don't. I tried to connect it over there, but I don't know. Do you think? 'Cause what
I
was the
think that's
second?
good.
Like, I'm trying to think. What was the second thing you said?
I have zero clue. I remember. I remember fundamentals.
Yeah.
And then I remember the separation straight men have between like girlfriend and their
Right.
friends.
Oh, right. Yeah.
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 And the second one is
I don't know.
zero clue.
It's eluding me.
I
Oh,
think this might. I
I
don't
mean,
know
it's
if
fine.
this is
Aren't
like.
we at like we're
Yeah.
James?
no, I wanted to say like aren't we like an hour and 30 minutes in anyway? Like
Yeah.
isn't this
Yeah.
like aren't we?
That's like, okay, can we wrap it up? Okay.
I mean, no. But like, I feel like we're trying to grasp for other topics, but I feel like
no.
this is a
I'm
nice
I'm
way
just I
of,
want to make sure that because
yeah,
like I asked Pub to do
Okay.
this, and I just want to make sure that we
Yeah.
like get everything that
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was
yeah,
that was it.
Because I wanted to hear more from Pub, if I'm being honest.
yeah.
Like,
This was I like this.
I wanted to hear more from you, like your
Well.
opinions on it and stuff. I don't know.
I don't know. I when I like was thinking of the topic and presented it to you guys, I thought that like I don't know, because I don't know. All my thing was that my fundamentals and my core values are really set, and that if I'm going to go
very
into a
absolute.
relationship, that other person has to have those core values and fundamentals the same as me, unless and like if not, there's no wiggle room for that, like in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know. I don't think I really have like all that much to say about what you guys said, because most of it I agree on. Most, if not all of it, I agree on.
But see, that's I don't think you do, because like I feel like I was saying I have more wiggle room, right, than you would allow. Not in
Yeah,
like,
but that's the thing, right? I also have more wiggle room than Pop and Choco, but I think it's also that understanding of like that they're like I think that like Pop and Choco are also justified in their opinion. Therefore,
yeah,
I'm not
100%.
disagreeing with them. Like I'm like I think there is there's room for everybody in the room. Like I don't know. Like I think it's a kind of like I think if Pop and Choco have an understanding that it's okay that people like me and Germ are here, right, to balance it out, and that that we have the understanding that Pop and Choco are also justified in their kind of like, oh no, we're really set on our core values. Like as long as there's this mutual understanding out of all of us, like like we all exist, and this is
like
just
I'm not
kind of how the
disagreeing with
world,
you.
quote
You're
unquote,
allowed to have
operates,
like
then that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's completely fine if like I'm not bashing you guys or anything. It's just I personally these are my rules. If somebody like can't hold on to them, then it's just not gonna work out. And these are rules I'm fine with playing around. Like that's fine. And you have your rules. That's also fine. I mean, I'm not living your life, so I'm
But
not
also-
gonna command you to change it.
Like my fundamentals could change, and like my core values could wiggle around eventually.
Yeah,
Because
especially because you're still young. You're still
Yeah.
gonna experience a lot of things. So
I'm still
definitely.
young, and I've only been in a relationship once, and that wasn't being in love. So there's still like a lot of time for me to like experience things and meet new people and stuff like that, for me to change my way of thinking of like my morals and my values and like the person that I'm interested in.
Yeah,
I can't wait for you to also turn homophobic and
Exactly.
Thank you,
racist.
Choco. I already am for the second
Like-
part.
that's what I wanted. I wanted us to just fight you guys. I don't know. You guys didn't do the drama that I wanted. That's all I was saying.
Kim's like, where's the argument? Where's the yelling? Where's the
I
cursing? Where's the
literally, I
swearing?"
wanted Choco to drop like another N-bomb today. Like,
I never said the N-word. I swear to God, I never said it.
right, what somebody who said the N-word would say. I don't know, you guys.
When
hate
Choco
this.
meets somebody
Okay, if you
named
guys
Nick
don't
and their
mind.
automatic reaction for their last name is Gur.
No.
Okay,
Okay.
let's wrap it up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
In conclusion,
Okay. If you guys, the conclusion, yeah.
no,
Oh.
go.
Go.
No, I
Stop.
wanted to like just post something funny.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the memes. Yeah.
Memes
Oh
and
my gosh,
media.
I have something. Wait, I bookmarked something.
Okay.
But Stealth, you go first.
Okay, so I'm
yeah,
gonna
go
post mine first. So, my boyfriend, right? I don't know. He lives in a dorm, and he's not very like, I don't know. He doesn't like using like the shared kitchen. But like when I was over his dorm, I forced him to use the oven because he was using like a frozen pizza. And I was like, well, we gotta heat this up, and he was like, oh, just microwave the pizza. I'm like, excuse me, microwave the pizza? Like, you're not serious.
Wait. Before
And
you
he's like,
continue,
yeah, like it will get a
Before-
bit soggy,
Literally.
but like
Before
the
you
outside,
continue,
you
Stout.
know, will be a bit crunchy. And I'm like,
Stealth, hold on.
What?
For everyone listening, we have been introduced to Stealth's boyfriend recently, and every time this man opens his mouth, it is the craziest shit you will ever hear in your fucking life. I love Tom so much. And like even learning things about him now, a frozen pizza in the microwave? Like he's insane. He's insane.
Listen, he cannot, like, it surprises me still every single day in the best way possible. So you can imagine my face when I sat there next to him and he was like, oh, just microwave it. I'm like, what?
Okay, he asked
So
you to
yeah, I
microwave
went
it.
over to the kitchen. Yeah, I went over to the kitchen and I explained to him that this microwave also has an oven function with grill.
No.
And I was like, okay, so you're not going to use the microwave function anymore. You're going to use the oven function. He's like, no, but it's so much work and I don't know, like I don't know how it works. I'm like, no, like we're gonna figure this out together. We're gonna do this. Don't worry. Like
This is the wiggle room we were
I put the
talking
frozen
about.
pizza into the microwave oven, right? It's like a combination of both.
Uh-huh.
And I put it on the right settings, put it on 20 minutes, and then he was like, no, but it was fine. Like I ate it microwave, then the inside was soggy, but the outside was a bit crunchy. I'm like, okay. And he's like, and it's gonna taste fine, I'm pretty sure. Like, you don't need to do all of this, we can just microwave. I'm like, no, we're not microwaving this pizza, we're putting
Oh
it
my
in the oven. Like, so, and then he was like, oh, it's not even gonna taste that much better. And then 20 minutes later, as I put it in the oven function, and it was actually like a properly cooked, baked pizza.
Right.
He was like, damn, this is good. And I'm like, that's
Oh,
crazy, right?
that's
I don't know.
crazy.
Yeah.
Stealth, I love your
So
boyfriend.
context
He's
for the
so
image
funny.
that I'm about to post. So context for the image that I'm about to post. He bought another frozen pizza and he just DM'd me saying that he was gonna, you know, he was like, oh, can this plate work in the oven because it's different from microwave? I was like, yeah, you can put that plate in the oven. And then I asked him, do you remember the setting that I used on the oven? And he said no. And this is where that image comes. Yeah, this is the image that I'm gonna post.
What is that? What is this?
It's the oven grill. It's the oven grill function. You know how ovens have like different
love that.
functions, like little icons, and he was
love
like,
that
"What
Stealth
icon do I put it on?"
remembers
So I opened Photoshop and drew it. Yes.
Stealth had the capacity to understand that Tom would not remember the settings, so Stealth remembered, and he was able to draw it from memory. Just send it to
It's
him later.
true. See, like
Oh,
these icons, you know,
God.
it's the most bottom left one. Yes.
Oh my god, you're sick. This is good. I
So, yeah.
love this.
This is what we needed, I think. I don't know.
See, Stealth, this is your wiggle room. This is you giving Tom the capacity for growth.
It's true. Me
Okay.
having wiggle room for someone microwaving pizza, right?
Oh, that's insane.
This is. I have two.
Okay.
One is. I have to take a screenshot. One is a tweet of the group of like kind of like emo alt Tumblr kids in like 2014, and they're all standing beside like
The fence.
like in front of like a wall or something,
Yeah.
and they're all wearing
Wearing
kind of the same
Sanders.
outfit, and it's kind of like it's very Lorde-esque, like the singer. Somebody that I followed posted that picture. The fact that the girl in the middle is in jail for tax fraud, and the boy is married to the girl on the left. And then I said, the tall girl got knee and ankle
No.
surgery to strip down because she got bullied for her height.
Now, Pow.
And
Okay.
it's a bunch of people just posting like misinformation. Like someone was like, "No, because I was in a polycule couple with them for a few months right before they got engaged, and they wouldn't shower for weeks, and the house smelled so bad." Sob emoji.
Oh no.
Oh,
This is horrible.
Actually, the girl in the middle is playing Betty in Riverdale. Like,
I've seen this picture so much. I thought it was real people. I guess it's nobody's. Just standing in front of a wall.
mm. My next one is this. It's a picture of a GoFundMe page. Oh wait, no, of a Change.org petition.
No.
9 people have signed. Let's get it to 1,000. And the title is "Get Halle Bailey a New Man." And then one of the comments is from Beyonce Carter. I like to think that this is real Beyonce. Posted
Alright.
20 minutes ago.
Uh-huh.
I knew TDG was trouble from the moment Hallie brought him to my 41st birthday party. He was carrying a tripod and a camera on his back. He followed my husband Jay around, begging for a feature. No one could enjoy the party with him being there. I finally had to ask my bodyguard Julius to escort him out after my party guests noticed that their silverware from all their tables was missing. TDG stolen all the silverware. We couldn't even eat the birthday cake they had for me. My guests had to use their hands. Hallie, you deserve so much better. I love you, D.
I love you, D.
Oh.
I don't know. I giggled and I cackled. But also, I was shitting when I was reading that and
This
saw
is
that on
so
Twitter.
stupid.
On the topic of shit, Germ,
Oh.
before you post your meme thing, can I just say what I think it is?
I don't have a meme, do I?
No, Choco.
You guys, oh my god, I'm not sharing
Simply
simply
poop.
poop,
But simply but
Gurm was laughing at this
But-
yesterday.
okay.
And then a couple
dying,
hours
but-
later, somehow it got brought up again. Somebody posted it, and then he started laughing again.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to stop sending me simply poop, but it's gonna lose its magic.
this has already been the 6th time that Karen just loses it over this fucking JPEG. It's
I
crazy.
That's okay. We're gonna have a podcast where we dissect this image. I swear to God. I
Yes.
love this image
But there, it's
so
just
much.
it seems so simple, but there's so many layers to this.
It's
Someone
true.
spent like a lot of time editing this
Mhm.
really, really well. Then there's the whole
Mhm.
formatting that just
It's
has
so
this
good.
comedic
And the
timing
original
to it. I don't
image
know. It's
too.
crazy.
I don't know. The Photoshop in this was insane.
It's the little comma after but. Why did they put the comma there? Simply but, comma poop. Why did they shift the words around? Like what
And
was
then the
going?
butt being a different font entirely.
Literally, it's like everything about this is perfect. Oh my god, I'm gonna do a video essay on this, guys. Coming soon. Oh my god. I did.
Okay.
I had a meme, but I don't want to talk about it because it's gonna take too long. Maybe
Mhm.
next time I'll share it with you guys. Just remind me.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise,
Okay.
any closing thoughts? Any?
Simply but.
No, I think we're good here. I think
Simply
this was
butt
fun.
poop.
This was simply butt poop.
Guys, leave your comments. Like, I want to know what you guys think about like
Oh,
Pop's friend. I guess it would be fun.
we
to
are
know what other
doing.
people.
We're gonna be now doing comment of the week.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and
Um,
I want to do it at the start of the episodes because I feel like that would encourage people to comment more. But we're doing it at the end for this one.
Wait,
somebody. Mhm.
that's what we could do for the first 10 minutes instead of like talking about shitting and farting. We could talk about like the comment from the day before.
Let me find it.
Not Chaco. Okay. So I know the comment Pop is talking about.
It was the. I don't know why YouTube recommended this. So random. Subscribe for the foot job though. Looking forward to it.
Okay. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I can't see your name right now, but absolutely obsessed with the comment
It's
because
so good.
it was so
Hold on, I need-
sincere.
I need to look at this right now. Hold on,
I
let me-
posted.
let me-
I posted.
Mr.
You
Sakat
posted it?
Osama. I love this comment. It's looking forward to it. Like, thank you. It's
Why does this video have 150 views?
I don't know.
Zero clue.
That's zero clue, but it's organic, so we're not botting, guys. We don't bot our views. We promise.
Oh no, I do. I do.
Oh, well,
Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye.
hit the subscribe button. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.